Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. And I've got to be honest here, you very nearly didn't get a video today. Thursday it wasn't a bad day, but it was a really busy day. I had a bunch of jobs to do around the house. That's right, international YouTube playboys have to do jobs around the house as well. I had to go out shopping, went to the butcher's. I've been getting back into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, trying to finish that, and well, time just passed me by. It was 10 o'clock at night before I thought I should probably do a video for tomorrow. I almost couldn't be bothered, but what the hell. You deserve it. So, welcome back to World of Warships. We've been seeing quite a bit of this ship lately, the Vampire 2, the Australian Tier 10 version of HMS Daring. The captain of the Vampire today is... I've seen that name before somewhere. I'm pretty sure we've featured one of his replays before, although not in the Vampire. It is, of course, McJibe. Yeah, like I said, the name seems very familiar. Today, you're going to be seeing some things that are going to make you roll your face all over your keyboard. Or they would if they were on any other map, but not here, because this is Two Brothers. So, yes, there is a carrier in play. And yes, you're going to see top tier battleships charging straight down the middle right at the start of the match, even though there's a carrier in play that can, emphasis on the word can, hit them every step of the way with bombs, rockets, and at certain points in that middle channel, torpedoes too. Note the use and emphasis on the word can, not will, because in this battle, things are going to get downright bizarre, even by Two Brothers standards. It's not that the friendly carrier is going to ignore the two grosser curve-firsts rushing up the middle, but, well, you'll know when you see it. Meanwhile, McJibe doesn't have time to worry about any of that. He's sharing this cap circle with an enemy destroyer, and he needs it either dead or out of this cap circle as quickly as possible. Remember, the Vampire is a Commonwealth destroyer, so against a creeping smoke screen, you can keep moving, providing you don't exceed 1/4 throttle. You will keep moving and stay concealed with inside the smoke. The same cannot be said. The same cannot be said of the Halland over there, and of course, McJibe is the only one spotting him, which means that McJibe has to periodically accelerate and pop out of the smoke screen in order to keep eyes on the enemy destroyer. Because for some bizarre reason, nobody else appears to want to shoot at him, so McJibe's having to do this all himself. And of course, every time he spots the Halland spots him, and there's a Des Moines and a Petropavlovsk down there. And unlike McJibe's team, who didn't seem to want to shoot at the Halland, every time McJibe popped out of his smoke screen to reacquire the Halland, both the Petropavlovsk and the Des Moines were only too happy to shoot at him. Anyway, first blood to McJibe, but with the Petro and the Des Moines that close, there is no way he's going back inside that cap circle. Unfortunately, he's having more or less the same problem with the Petropavlovsk as he was having with the Halland. To a certain degree, anyway. He's not the only one shooting at the Petropavlovsk, but he's the only one shooting effectively at the Petropavlovsk, and he was also the one spotting him. So he has to make a choice here. He can give up the smoke screen in order to respot the Petro and hope somebody actually shoots at him, or not. But as long as he's at more than 1/4 throttle and in open water here, the one thing he is not going to be doing is shooting at the Petro himself. Meanwhile, you could have been forgiven for not yet noticing that the two enemy grosser curve-firsts are actually heading up the channel in the middle of the map. Nothing unusual about that, of course. Top-tier battleships are always throwing their lives away by charging up the middle of Two Brothers right at the start of the battle. What is unusual is that those two grosser curve-firsts aren't messing around, they're going for it. They're not loitering and waiting to get hit over and over and over by the friendly carrier. What is also unusual is that the friendly carrier is not hitting them over and over and over. In fact, he's only launched 2 attacks this entire game. What the friendly carrier is in fact doing, and this is where things get downright bizarre, you might have already noticed. Yep, there he is. I'm not entirely sure what the friendly carrier is doing, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be successful. He's only tier 8, of course, it's a Shikak. And somehow he's already managed to lose 1/3 of his health. He's going to try and ram one of those battleships. Well, I suppose that's one guaranteed way of doing 100,000 damage in a tier 10 battle in your tier 8 carrier, but you have to actually survive long enough to hit him. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. Oh, he did hit him. Didn't sink him, though. Just gave the Grosser Kurfürst the Die Hard award. Took a chunk of health off, killed the carrier, didn't kill the Grosser Kurfürst, who is, of course, sailing straight into, well, I believe the technical term for this is God's own crossfire. He's got a vampire on one side, a Friesland on the other side, and 2 Musashis in front of him. So his chances of surviving that were approximately nil. And now comes player 2. Now, he doesn't have to worry about a carrier smashing into him, but at this point I think a carrier smashing into him is going to be the least of his worries. He's kind of lucky that there's a Friesland on the flank, because the Friesland doesn't have torpedoes, otherwise he'd probably already be dead. Is he going to try to ram one of the Musashis? If he was, I don't think he can, because both of the Musashis are on the safe side of the wreck of the first Grosser Kurfürst, so... I mean, he's got 2 Musashis, a Friesland, a Drake, a Vampire, possibly a Yamato and a Kremlin shooting at him. He's not going to survive this. It's just a question of whether or not you can take anybody down with him. He's done a fair amount of damage to the one Musashi, but I really, really don't think this is worth it. And yeah, he's dead too. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but right after the first Grosser Kurfürst went to his watery doom, he popped up in chat saying, "Worth it, totally worth it." Now, I don't like giving spoilers, but I'm going to give you one here. That first Grosser Kurfürst finished this battle with 700 experience, and his slightly more successful but equally dead teammate in the other Grosser Kurfürst finishes this battle with 770 experience. Now, as long as they both had fun, then yeah, sure, by that measurement, it was probably totally worth it. But by any other metric, if they think that was worth it, I strongly recommend they spend a little bit of time actually learning how to play the Grosser Kurfürst. McJibe being very diplomatic about it there in chat. The first Grosser Kurfürst keeps repeating it was worth it. I'm not sure who he's trying to convince. Saying, yeah, we got your carrier. Yeah, that's true. Although, what use that carrier was going to be is anybody's guess. I mean, look at what he did. But McJibe quite correctly points out, yeah, we've got no carrier. We've got 2 more battleships than you, though. And he's not wrong. I'm sorry, I love it. There's just so many different nuances of meaning wrapped up into that one sentence. It's an observation, it's a statement, it's a denial, and it's an accusation all rolled into one. Meanwhile, you're probably not too surprised to see that McJibe is about to turn the tables on the 2 Grosser Kurfürsts. And he is being backed up by the 2 Musashis. So why was it done when the Grosser Kurfürsts did it, but it's not done when the 2 Musashis do it? Excellent question. Allow me to explain. Unlike the Grosser Kurfürsts, the Musashis didn't do it right at the start of the battle when the entire enemy team was sitting there waiting for them. And they're also doing it with a destroyer scouting for them. Now, this is going to require some teamwork. Those 2 Musashis are definitely going to have to prioritise anything that poses a direct threat to McJibe, because he is going to be their eyes and ears here. Okay, nice. Friendly Stalingrad took out the Petropavlovsk. It looks like the Des Moines over there, which is another serious threat, is about to be taken out by the Kremlin. Here comes the enemy carrier. Not a problem. Might be a problem for the Musashis. Not such a problem for... Ooh, the Ognavoy, that is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for everybody. So, McJibe opens up instantly. You have to anticipate that there are going to be torpedoes coming. But McJibe also has his hydro running. So if there are torpedoes, it's a short range but long duration hydro. I think it only has like a 3.5 kilometre detection range for torpedoes. But if the Ognavoy... There they are. Right, and the Musashis are shooting up the Ognavoy. Good. Like to see it. Get him finished off. Torpedoes detected. Some of them may still hit, but the Musashis now have plenty of warning. And to be honest, they shouldn't have needed hydro to tell them that torpedoes were on the way when a destroyer pops up in front of them and does that. But nobody's taking any chances here. The Ognavoy has to die, and, well, that's what happens. McJibe, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, is up to 110,000 damage, and he hasn't landed a single torpedo on anything yet. Yeah, looks like the two enemy GKs were right. It absolutely was worth it. Just not for them. Amagi next. I mean, he's protected, but these guys need to die. The friendly Yoshino is in a lot of trouble. He's done well to survive as long as he has, with most of the casualties on McJibe's team coming from that flank. So these are the winners on the enemy team. The Amagi, the Georgia. These are the guys who've been carrying the enemy team. Well, maybe carrying is too strong a word, but those are the only successful players on the enemy team. And, oh look, there's the last enemy destroyer. The Amagi has gone down. Frederick Schultz is trying to smoke up here, but he's already been hit and had something incapacitated. Yep, it's his engines. This is an extremely one-sided fight, by the way. I'm not saying the Frederick Schultz is a bad ship, but it's no good against destroyers, especially not broadside on like that. There's the Kraken Unleashed. He's managed to avoid the torpedoes from both the Frederick Schultz and the enemy carrier. Now going for the Georgia and the Ibuki. While this is going on, can I just direct your attention to the bottom left corner of the minimap of the current location of the enemy Lepanto? Yeah. Don't worry, we'll be seeing more of him later. Right now, McJibe closing in. Not undetected, of course, thanks to the enemy Parsifal. But he is closing in on that Ibuki, who is taking a battering. Poor bugger has to cross behind that island in order to escape the attention of the Friesland, the Z-23 and the Yamato. Oh, are we going to get a torpedo beat? We are. But as soon as he comes around the side of the island, he's no longer getting shot at by the Z-23 Friesland and Yamato, but he is now getting shot at by McJibe and those two Musashis. And yeah, that had fairly predictable consequences. Although the amount of firepower, particularly high explosive firepower, that an Ibuki can put out in a short period of time is nothing to be sniffed at. He did do a substantial amount of damage to McJibe. He was probably wishing. Oof, ouch, rocket attack from the Parsifal. Probably wishing he could go undetected right now, but everything's on cooldown. So trying to keep the island between himself and the Georgia. Oh no. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. Georgia's secondaries are no joke either, as you can see. The Georgia's on low enough health here that McJibe is thinking, well, I might be able to sink him. And, well, yeah. His smokescreen comes back off cooldown and, yeah, too little, too late. The problem there, of course, was that maybe if he'd swung around to get all of his turrets firing, he might have been able to take the Georgia out. But that would have given the Georgia a bigger target to shoot at as well, so you're kind of screwed if you do and screwed if you don't. The Georgia, of course, making great use of island cover and ensuring that the Musashis, who did get him eventually, couldn't get him in time to keep McJibe in the game. So the Georgia's down. That just leaves that Lepanto over there. Don't worry, we'll be seeing more of him in a moment. And the enemy carrier. And I'm not anticipating him surviving for too long with the Musashi shooting at him. But what about that Lepanto, the Italian battleship that this Musashi is aiming at? Well, let me just blow up the minimap and see if you can spot him. There we go, that's the minimap. As zoomed in as you can make it and still be able to distinguish detail. Can you see the Lepanto? You can kind of just make out, right down there in the bottom left corner of the map, there's something red down there. There's something sort of vaguely enemy battleship shaped down there, desperately trying to make it into the Tears of the Desert map. I mean, seriously, genuine question. What does he think is going to happen? Does he think he's going to save money if he survives the battle? Does he not understand that you pay a fixed logistics price regardless of what happens to your ship? Oh bless, he's trying to hide inside his smokescreen. Meanwhile, Musashi blind fires from across the map and says, nope, not today, Panyo. Ah well, you never know. Maybe one day. Not today, but maybe one day. What do you think, Akazuki? Yeah, I know. It's Two Brothers. You always get a show on the Two Brothers map. I love this map, I really do. It's not really any better than any of the other maps in the game. It's certainly not any worse. But there's something about the Two Brothers map. It's a bit like the Erlenberg map in World of Tanks. You know, it's not any better or worse than any other map in the game, but there's just something about that map that causes everybody to suffer from a sudden case of shit to the brain. There's a reason why it's known as Derpenberg. And Two Brothers is the same, and that's why I love it. Anyway, 5 kills, Kraken Unleashed, 134,000 damage, and a First Blood Award for McJibe in the Vampire. I hope you all enjoyed the pants-on-head stupid in today's replay, which on any other map would be considered unusual. But here, well, it's just Two Brothers, isn't it? That's just the way this map rolls. That's it for today, folks. Thank you again to McJibe for sending this replay in. I'm really glad you're enjoying your Vampire. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.